morning. It's a beautiful Thursday, Friday here at Everyday Struggle. Nadeska hanging out with Wayno and Akademiks. What's good, guys?
Happy birthday, both y'all.
Hey.
48 hours is almost up. Just let y'all know. What's up with y'all doing, man? It's
playing.
Thursday.
Stop playing with my man.
Excited, man. I'm excited, man. It's hip-hop time.
It's hip-hop time.
What you talking about today?
Stop playing out here, you out here playing. Stop playing.
Hip-hop time.
What are we talking about today? Young Dolph. Young Dolph. So last year he told us he turned down a $22 million deal. Or did he? So Dolph has always promoted himself as an indie artist, but in a series of tweets this week, he revealed that actually label issues are preventing him from dropping new music and he wants to leak his own album. So in one tweet, he actually confessed to signing 2 deals in 2018, in addition to what he signed back in 2015, and then added, so now that it's out that I'm not some big independent superstar and I've signed 4 deals like everyone else, I wonder if all the rappers gonna stop hating. Sorry for shitting on you guys, knowing damn well I got a major deal. Now it's still pretty unclear which label exactly he's having issues with. So last summer when he turned down the $22 million deal, he signed a distribution deal, a partnership deal with Empire. Anyway, I don't know, the indie thing was all a lie.
I don't know, it makes no sense to me. Like, it just overall makes no sense to me. Because he pushed being indie for so much, and then he's saying that he can't put out music. I'm very confused. I was waiting for him to say he was hacked or some shit.
I don't think that's coming because yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to say he's hacked. Like this shit don't make sense.
Yeah, it don't make sense. Like nothing about it makes sense. It's like remember he did the whole little vid. I got a $22 million deal,
yeah.
Man. Nah, fuck that deal. I'ma stay independent. And then now he's saying that he had a deal the whole time. I don't know what to think. Like,
yeah, because he's sending out, like, he's doing shows right now, right? So I got a press blast like yesterday, which still says he's like proudly and fiercely independent.
Well, I look at everything I think you're really hacked, man. Like, because I can't understand. You signed 2 deals. Anytime you've dropped projects, his whole like explanation of the partnership, like, yeah, he has a distribution deal. That's not a record deal, typically. A distribution deal if you're releasing a project, or even if you have like an imprint that you just have a distribution deal through a label, that's not usually what we call a complete record deal that would make you not independent. So people with a distribution deal, like, I'm pretty sure Chance got like a deal with like Sony Red. He's still jacking that he's independent. So that's usually not what makes you independent. What makes you not independent, or that doesn't make that doesn't negate the fact that you could call yourself independent, right?
Okay.
But what usually does is what he said in his first tweet. You can't release music. Which means that the label is telling you when, and they're probably controlling how your music goes out, and also they probably own your shit. So again, that's 2 different things. I'm trying to like see what he's talking about. He said he signed 2 deals. I'm looking at on the credits for the music he put out before. I'm looking to see if there's any associations. I don't know what this mysterious label is unless he's saying that the partnership or distro situation he had with Empire isn't that, and it's a full record deal where they're just controlling the shit, which typically that's not even how Empire does.
And if you have a distribution deal, it's just everybody's getting a percentage. Nobody's giving you an opportunity for free. Like, everybody's getting something off of it. But the thing is if he has a deal with Empire, Empire is also partnered with Universal, or Republic, you know, to my understanding. So that would put him under that umbrella if he did do something with Empire, which means that, yeah, you are essentially doing business with a major. Now, it's different ways to do business with a major. I think that the biggest thing when people think of majors, they think of like a specific person running the major and say, well, I'm not going to sign with them. Because independence is like basically like your team. Like if you have a team that can construct and move and position your shit all the way around, then that's your independence. But somebody's getting broken off some bread. You're not just out here putting out music all out of your pocket.
If he was hacked, you don't think he would have said something by now? This tweet went up 21 hours ago.
I mean, the last tweet was pretty embarrassing. He said, listen, I'm sorry for shitting on all y'all niggas who were signed.
Right.
Because I've been signed, and I've been lying. Basically saying I've been the biggest fraud out of all y'all. And, like, if you really look at it, like, to be honest, I give Dolph a lot of credit. And I think a lot of fans have given him credit because you put him on a different scale because you've always thought he's independent. So now, when you see his either numbers look a certain way, or you see that he's not getting certain push that you would typically see from a major label artist, you understand why, but you see he's doing it all himself. Well, that's where you give him the credit. Now, if he's on a major just like all these other niggas, all right, those excuses go out the window. Nigga, you just not performing. You feel me? I always thought he was like, that's one of the reasons why his label's called Paper Route Empire, something like that. No, Paper Route.
Who's on that? Key Glock is on. Key Glock is one of his artists, right?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I think Key Glock is one of his artists.
Yeah. So I've always given him the credit of really working, because there's something about, he's from Memphis. There's something about that area. Remember when we talked about even the Everyday Struggle Awards, Moneybagg Yo came from that area, worked that area down south, and also came, like, the way how people who are successful, rappers who are successful from that area work, like, geographically, that demographic, like, they do great numbers. So I've always said I gave Dolph a lot of credit for doing it independently, but if he's not, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I always felt like Dolph, like, whenever he gets, like, his hottest, he never really capitalized off the moment.
In terms of what, putting out more music, being more present?
In terms of, like if he did a deal, right? Like, so I remember, like, 2016. 2016, that's, like, before I kind of heard about Moneybagg Yo. Like, he, out of side of Yo Gotti, like, Dolph was the hottest nigga coming out of Memphis. I thought that he was going to sign, like, a big deal. I thought he should have made that XXL freshman cover that year, all of that. And it just seems like, I mean, he does shows and shit, and he'll show that he has, like, a big following. But as far as on the business terms, we don't know none of his business. Like, his business not out there. But if he's not hacked and he's really saying this, it's just like he never capitalizes off his moments correctly. Because if he signed the deal, I would expect for Dolph to announce it, like the same way how people talking about this Future deal where he got $50 million or something crazy and it's a big press release and all that. I would think Dolph would have been doing some stuff like that. As far as, like, announcing that he did a deal, it's like he kept it under wraps for what?
Okay, so if he is, whatever, we don't know the label situation, but he's signed, what happens if you're signed to a major and you leak your album?
They take it down. That's it. Immediately. Like, they could, how many times you seen, like, your favorite artist, they drop a record or a video, and then you start telling people about it, and you look up an hour and it's gone. And you be like, damn, what happened? You like, damn, what? Like, the average fan doesn't know that some bullshit is going on. Sometimes it could go both ways, though. If it goes crazy, then it's like, all right, we got to figure out how to catch up to this momentum. But if you saying I'm gonna leak my album, oh nah, we could press one button, and usually it's not the label you might be signed to, it's the parent company. So it's like if you sign to Def Jam, which is a Universal Music Group company, if it goes out without clearances or authorization and it goes on a platform, they snatch it down immediately.
And is that the kind of thing that, like, could void your contract, or are there legal implications, or they just take the music down and that's it?
They could take it down, and now they could. These is regular people, and they petty. The people at record labels is petty and spiteful, just like everybody else. So, all right, you want to leak your music without putting together a plan and nothing. All right, well, we'll see if you put anything else out.
Oh, they shelve you for life.
Well, not shelve you for life, but they might just slow down on the process because you're not trying to deal with them.
Especially if he's already saying, I can't drop music, and then you leak it and piss them off more.
Well, it's interesting, like, and this is the levels of, like, really selling your soul away, as people like to say, like. If he was jacking this whole independence thing, I would imagine, for me, when I hear an artist say he's independent, completely off the rip, you own all your masters. You feel me? And if all his shit is owned by the label, that's not no distro deal. Like, you supposed to own all your shit, they just get a percentage of what you putting out. Like, you know how Uzi says, yo, I can't put out no music. Without a doubt, Atlantic owns everything of that kid. That's a fact. Like,
everything, they don't own everything of him.
You don't think
he's not signed directly to Atlantic. He signed a Generation Now through Atlantic. So Atlantic, that's the thing. Is like,
okay, you're right. Yeah. But Generation Now does.
They don't own everything. Like, think about this, man. They don't own everything of what he makes, bro. They don't own everything.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is, when people say everything, they think that, like.
So every single record that Uzi's ever put out, they don't own?
No, they definitely own. They definitely have ownership, a portion of the record, but they don't own the whole entire record.
Okay.
Like, nobody's telling me that they own the whole entire record. I mean,
the way he's been complaining, like, and the way he's
Uzi crazy, my nigga,
and the way he's been saying he regrets signing his deal. This, for a new artist coming in the game, a lot of niggas, like, they see the money, they ain't thinking about the ownership. They might sign their whole shit away.
The artists always go AWOL. I don't give a fuck. Like, majority of them, I say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 have a moment where they lose it. Like, it's a lot. You gotta keep in mind, Uzi's very young, right? He's only 25 years old. I think 24. He's 24, going on 25. When he started making crazy life-changing money was when he was like 21. That's a lot to deal with, being responsible and all these different things. Yeah. And the thing with Uzi is, I think it's Atlantic. to a point of they want to get shit out because they just had a Grammy-nominated record, a big album, all of that, he's killing shit. But also, it's Uzi internally. Maybe he wants to outdo himself from before in the music that he's making. He might not feel like he's outdoing himself.
The point I was making, though, is that, like, Uzi, through Generation Now and Atlantic, he's been there his whole career. And whether we want to say he owns a part of his music catalog, pretty much Generation Now probably owns the majority of all of that, right? And it's been for his entire career. Dolph, again, this is an artist who was saying he was independent for a certain period. Look at even somebody like Russ. Russ owns a portion of his music catalog. You know why? He was independent before. Now, when you hear a nigga start coming out saying I was getting offered a $22 million deal, it's probably feasible that if even near that number was offered, they're buying your back catalog. So now they own all your shit. All your independent shit that you used to be talking about. They might own everything you have musically. So now, when you see how shit's going down and now they're controlling your current and your future releases and they own all your old shit, yeah, you might be having second. And again, we're just guessing.
We're just guessing. We're just guessing. But the thing also is the difference between a Dolph and a Uzi is Uzi didn't have no leverage, right? He didn't have leverage. It's not like he was doing, like he was putting out records that was going crazy before he got with Generation Now and them in Atlantic. Dolph, on the other hand, he had leverage. So if he walked in saying like, okay, I'm moving numbers, streams is doing well, I'm touring, all of that, he has leverage to say, if I'm gonna take all of this money, I still have to be able to have some say-so. You're not just gonna tell me what to do. That's why until he says something, we just all speculating. Right. Because like nobody really knows.
And again, we only know about his quote-unquote partnership before with Empire, and there's a lot of different ways I've seen artists partner with Empire. I've seen artists, I remember X partnered with Empire. Shit, Ugly God that I know, I talked to both those guys, at least when X was alive. I talked
Jim Jones got a nice situation with Empire as well.
And when I asked both of them about their situations there, it was never a situation where they couldn't put out music. Actually, they would promise either singles or albums that they had to deliver within a particular year, but because they weren't literally signed to the label, it's really a distribution situation for either one album or two albums. They could still go release other shit, you know, after a certain period of time, because you gotta let people work their shit, right? They could release other shit elsewhere. You feel me? So it's like when I hear Dolph, he's, yo, I can't release shit, this, that, and third. You probably signed the whole thing away if you're not trolling or you're not hacked.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope this is not trolling. This wouldn't even make sense.
I hope it is trolling, because I like when my man was talking that independent shit, man. He was one of the guys I'm like, you know, we always give the dudes that are Southern kind of based, because we always say there ain't no media down there. They got to get it from the mud. They know how to hustle. Don't tell me he was hustling by himself, doing great, buying all the, y'all ever seen him like show off his cars? No. Then he comes to New York and sign, well, I don't even know where Empire's been.
Cars ain't shit. Cars don't mean a fucking thing.
Nah, but he looked like he was doing great record sales.
Looks can be deceiving. I mean,
but the record sales look good too.
Wow. I mean, yeah, but that's why I said, like, even with his record sales and all of that, he's still not as visible as he should be. A lot of people might know his songs, but he's not visible how he should be for all the success that he's had in the past couple years. That's why I feel like he don't capitalize off his moments as much as he should.
And if you're signed to a major, that's what they help with, right?
Absolutely.
Making you more visible, so it's maybe we'll get more.
It's downsides to signing the majors, and it's upsides to it as well. Yeah. But as smart as he's portrayed himself to be, which I believe that he's a smart guy, I'm just like, I can't believe that with all of the leverage that Dolph has, because he does so well, and because in that down south circuit, like I had a conversation with Gotti, and the money that they make on like shows down there is insane. For you to go sign a big deal, you gotta have some leverage in there. I just.
Well, the bigger the deal, the less leverage. If we just talking numbers, the bigger the money that you're probably signing, you probably are giving things up.
But you're legitimizing the money. You're legitimizing the money, and you're asking the money based on what you're worth walking into the door. Now, when they say I'm going to give you all of this, that don't mean that all your groundwork just goes out the door just for that amount of money. I mean, I wouldn't do that. Specifically,
but shit, they might not. You might not have the control at a certain point. You know, once we start investing a certain amount of money. But listen, man, Dolph, work this out, bro.
Yeah, if you're not hacked, hopefully you figure this all out. All right.
I need to see more Dolph pieces on the gram, man. Okay.
All right, so today's Heat Check I'm really excited for. Our Heat Check for today is Boogie. So he's 29 years old from Compton. He signed to Shady Records in October 2017 and just dropped his debut album, Everything's for Sale. Now, I love Boogie because I think if you're an artist who sits around and see a lot of people just shoot to the top of the charts and you've been grinding for a long time, that can be disheartening. Boogie's been out here putting in work for years. Right. So he's had a few mixtapes, Thirst 48 in 2014, great mixtape. The Reach, Thirst 48 Part 2. And then he had a couple big songs. I don't know if you guys remember Oh My when it dropped.
Oh My.
I think that was like a Jalil beat song.
Yeah, Jalil did that joint.
That shit was amazing. Rainy Days, Sunroof, featuring Eminem. So yeah, he's been working really hard for a long time. It's nice to see him finally getting the spotlight he deserves. What do you guys think?
Well, I listened to like the first half of Boogie's album like over the weekend, and then like I caught up with it this week. But then what kind of bugged me out was like one of my homies, my man Big B's, he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, he's sending me Boogie's album." And I'm like, "Shit, are you hacked?" For real, because I wouldn't think that B's would listen to Boogie.
Why?
Only because of the type of music, like he's an artist, but the type of dude he is, I wouldn't think that he was up on that. He was telling me, he's like, "Yo, listen to this shit. This shit is really good."
Yeah, he's smart. It's like very introspective. You hear a lot about his life, about raising his son. Like the wordplay is great.
And one of my favorite lines off of it was when he says, "You only bang it because it's streaming. You only gang when it's convenient." Like it tells the tale of a lot of these young dudes today trying to gangbang and do all of this shit just because they want clout or they want to be seen or they think it's a marketing tool. And we see how that backfires. But overall, I really like the album. I felt like, I don't want to call it perfect, but I feel like, you know when people say this is what they want? When I listened to it, I felt like a part of they. Like I was like, damn, this shit is
like a part of they.
Like of the they crowd. Like, yo, this is what I would like to hear from an artist coming out of Compton. Like, you know, like we already got Kendrick, but he has a different side of what it is, and I think he does it really well.
Yeah. So JID, Eminem again, and Black are also on the album. You have a chance to listen?
Yeah, not gonna lie, like, shit, I didn't really know too much about Boogie prior to a couple months ago. And when I did do my research on like his come up, I thought it was just a nigga that just came straight to at least my visibility. But he been really putting the grind, and it shows by this album because it feels like someone who, and clearly he's coming Shady, Interscope. He probably has some mentorship that he knows how to make an album. This was like a really good album. Yeah. You know, like sometimes
you should go back and check the mixtapes too, because even before he was signed, when I met him years ago and he just had the tapes out, the tapes are also great.
What's the joint that he had with because I'm not good with the song names, but the video when he shot and he's in an art gallery and all the people is looking at him and he's sitting there like he's holding a baby and he has a bullet hole in him.
I can't remember the
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I'm so bad with the names, yeah.
Yeah, but that video was that's what I'm saying. Like even when Jordan Lucas was saying, like people been doing a lot of videos that's controversial that spark a lot of conversation, and that joint was one of them joints. But like I'm fucking with Boogie.
Nah, I rock with him. Honestly, I didn't even think I like West Coast artists that have like a more mature sound.
Really?
I do. Why are you shocked, though?
Because we don't know that. The word mature and you doesn't really mix together.
I feel like that's more my taste in music, not yours.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, like he put together a good project, actually a great project. Yeah. Like listening from top to bottom, like I could tell he not rapping like he's 17, bro. You get me? And then I didn't even know he was 29. But like he's rapping like he knows how to make a project, and it was cool.
Yeah, and you know what, and this is what, like, when I tell, you know, when I say to a lot of New York artists about, like, what they talk about, I'm not specifically saying, like, you got to make a project like this. I'm just saying, like, there's so many different parts to your day. And like, when I listen to this album, like, Skydive 2, all of that, it's so many, he gives you so many different parts to your day. It's not just, like, one thing. You know, it's not just one thing. And people might not look at it as, like, specifically say, like, gangster music or, you know, that's the whole thing they used to put West Coast artists into, like, one little box of just making, like, hard and aggressive music, but he's talking about those same concepts and contexts, but he puts it in a more, like, so you can understand it, a little smoother with it, you know? This is a very good album.
Yeah, he had a line a few years back on one of those tapes, something like, "I'm like a bougie soccer player, I can't kick it with dudes with no goals," or some shit like that. Yo, he's clever.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And his the album cover is like a funeral. That's what really catches you. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you know that Boogie's a blood. You know what I mean? Or he reps a blood neighborhood, but he has like dudes carrying a casket. You know what I mean? It's like just seeing that makes you say, damn, like what is this about? And he gives the whole story top to bottom.
Yeah.
So I really like it.
Yeah, congrats to Boogie.
I like those little interlude, little vocal pieces right before.
Oh, like short, the girl's like, fuck nigga. Yeah. She's going crazy on him.
Apparently, Ak likes introspective music from the West Coast. Who knew?
He might be up for the award this year.
Yo,
might be up for the award this year.
Y'all should know. I love more West Coast artists than East Coast artists, bro.
Okay, it wasn't the East or West Coast part I was talking about, but are you gonna put a track from this?
I feel like they do a better job a lot of times, or maybe the people I listen to.
You wanna put one of these tracks on Cloud Tokens?
Oh, actually, I probably will, yo. Okay. I probably either do Skydive or I like the first track, the Reflections joint.
I'm gonna check and make sure.
Yeah, Reflections is hard.
Show Young Boogie some love. All right, let's see. I think we got a couple more stories left, and we're gonna get to some.
Oh, salute to Dreezy too, yo. She also dropped.
That's what's up. Shouts to Dreezy.
What was I saying? Yes, a couple more stories, and then let's do some fan questions because it's been a while. All right, so yesterday, according to TMZ, 3 of 6ix9ine's associates were hit with federal indictments. One of them, known as Kuda B, was also indicted for his alleged role in the attempted Chief Keef shooting last summer. Apparently, 6ix9ine gave him up. I don't know. This case is just getting messier and messier.
I don't think it's messy.
It seems pretty messy.
I don't think it's messy. I mean, I think for this, I don't know if it's a fact or not, but this alleged that he gave him up was what everybody thought was going to happen. Right? Like, everybody said that when he got into whatever bond or whatever. Well, from this shit, I want all these kids to understand, man, stop trolling. Trolling is not a joke. Trolling seemed cool until a nigga was saying, I got a 30-pack on somebody's head. Mm-hmm. And then the feds came and said, all right, we're going to tie you to that. And then now people's getting picked up for that shit. So stop with that trolling shit. But I want to know what you have to say or what you think about this.
I think we got to wait till all this shit resolves. Because a lot of some of the stuff I'm seeing, first of all, one thing I realized, everybody's really quick to, I don't want to say judgment, but there's a lot of people who I hear speaking out now that when he was free, they were very quiet. Or they would they look the other way. But now it's very...
Does that matter?
It does matter.
Why?
Because everybody could act like they are right after it's done, but when they were actually here and saw shit going on, they were cool with it. Or they didn't say anything. You know what I mean? Like, you don't look like a genius after the game. You would be a genius if while the game is going on, you're either helping out or making the right decisions. Anyway, that's either here nor there. Some of this shit don't make sense to me. Did he give somebody up? Did he not? I have no fucking clue. But
because the report is just coming, all I've seen so far is TMZ.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like Associated Press or anything else.
Well, I've seen XL.
But they were quoting the TMZ article, I believe.
And they put some extra shit that was incorrect. They said he was set to testify. That seemed wild. You know why this seemed wild? And just on a realistic, like, forget 6ix9ine. It seemed wild because if they're saying 6ix9ine, right, is the one who paid for something to happen to another dude, that's some kingpin shit, right? That's like, I orchestrated for something to happen. Yet, he's not charged for this.
Huh?
So this particular crime, he ain't charged for.
But didn't they pick that up during, like, after they locked him up when that video came out?
Nah, he didn't get charged for this. So it's a lot of. I think the feds have a lot of more things in the pipeline. He probably might be charged for this down the line. But I think this is why you kind of have to watch, and that's why, again, you're right. Trolling, all that shit. The feds are watching. That's very true. But I looked at this and I'm like, are you telling me that the feds cut a deal with? It's like the feds cut a deal with El Chapo for him to single out the other niggas below him. No, if you're saying somebody put up money on something happening, the person who you want to get the most is the guy who set it up. That's why RICO charge exists. The guy who set it up but didn't get his hand dirty. He hasn't been charged yet.
But people, I mean, he hasn't been charged yet, and we don't know, but it's people who are bosses that tell on people as well. Like, that's not...
No, absolutely.
That's not unforeseen. Like, it's like...
you tell on somebody and you don't get a charge?
Huh?
So the boss tells on the other niggas that he was telling...
No, you could tell on somebody to reduce your charges. The charges that you're already facing. That happens all the time. So even if he's not charged for it, this is all alleged, right? This is all alleged, and we all speculating. If he said, yo, yeah, I did that or this, that, and the third, that's for them to get a lesser charge. Like, that's for him to get a lesser charge, a lesser time, whatever he's facing.
And I agree with that too. And I'm not saying we're speculating. We don't know either here or there. But
I mean, it just don't.
He hasn't been charged yet. I think the feds and the information we're getting, we kind of have to sit back and watch, because this got released, and I've met that young man. I think his name is Kuda B.
Yeah.
He's a dancer.
He made a song after him.
Yeah.
He named the song after him.
They released this and pinpointed this guy, and the guy's still free at the time when they put out information. If the feds is putting out the information like that and releasing indictments while they haven't even caught suspects yet, and they're saying this guy who we think did everything, he's just not charged, I'm just saying you just got to fall back and watch, because I'm pretty sure the feds got a bigger game plan.
We all falling back and watch it, but listen, they could know, the feds will know that you're doing something and come drive by your house every day and say, hey, we see you in 8 months. They don't just come grab you tomorrow. Like, that's the police. The police, you did something, we coming to get you tomorrow. Feds have to build an investigation. This has been going on for a while, so I said this from the start. Nobody's not throwing no shots in fucking Times Square at the W, and nothing's gonna happen about that.
That's the wildest shit about this whole thing. Like there are cameras on cops on every. There are cops with like AKs in Times Square in the morning. I don't understand.
But because this shit is a sacredly guarded place. It's a lot of business that goes on here.
Tourists here.
And if you let a gun, first of all, just shooting a gun comes not with just weapons possession, but reckless endangerment, discharging a firearm in a public place. If there's minors around, it's all types of charges that come with this shit. And they're gonna hit whoever did this shit or didn't with extra things. Yeah. All I'm saying is that it's all tied, it's all put together. Like, you know what I mean? And whether this is true or not, it's not like it's an unbelievable thing, because everybody's expecting the kid to tell. Yeah, they're expecting him to fold.
Yeah, let's.
Well, again.
Let's see what happens.
I agree with all that. I think the release of information is a little bit. Yeah. You got to watch it, because again, listen, man. I see
this shit is released the same way all the other shit is released.
No, but not everything be true.
Let's see.
It's not. But
they had a whole document saying I did some shit when I ever did. So
who, TMZ? Not TMZ.
Not TMZ.
That's what I'm saying. So most of the shit that you report is TMZ shit, right?
All right. However, if you look at which like, just even thinking which authority would actually be like, yo, listen, we got the informant, this is the informant. Before y'all even get to try, like, why would even you have a confidence? Say he's the informant, right? Why would you give it up to the media?
You said, why would you give it up to the media?
Yeah, all right, so.
Because this shit is a show. That's what, like, guess what? Law enforcement plays into media the same way everything else do. Everything. Nothing is, like, that's like telling jurors, you know how they used to tell jurors, don't read the newspaper, don't watch TV. That's impossible. That does not happen. You know why they give it up to the media? Because it brings more attention for somebody else to possibly crack, or somebody else to possibly come forward if they feel like some pressure's on them. That's why they do that shit.
That's true, but if this is true as well,
you still associating with that?
Like, all right, so let's wait and see. More details are going to emerge. In the meantime, we need to talk to Tory Lanez. We're a little bit disappointed, right? Tory, what the hell? We were waiting for you to drop another track, huh?
I think Tory coming back. They called me last night at 3 a.m. That means it's track time.
Coming back on the show? Oh,
no,
he's dropping?
I think it's track time.
Wait, how's he going to drop a track now when he gets on IG story and basically declares himself the winner? What did he say? If Don Q, if he don't top his first shit, he lost, period. What? This is exactly what you guys were saying he couldn't do.
Tory
think he won without even Tory will think he wins a rap battle without him actually dropping this.
I got to holler at all the Canadians real quick. Why do they make all the rules for everything?
Is it Canadians or just Tory though?
It's Tory and Drake. They both set the rules of what
only two of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's only two of them.
No.
Let's not do that. Let's not discount all other Canadian rappers.
No. That's what I'm saying. Don't blame it on Canada. It's only two niggas.
Y'all be pissing off the UK rappers.
It's two niggas that's doing that.
Yeah,
the rest of them,
I'm just saying, why they get to make the rules? Why can't nobody make? First of all, there is no rules. There's no fucking book where it's like, okay, you violated section 2491.
Yo, there should be a rule book. That would be amazing.
But who runs the rule book? That's the.
What he said didn't make sense though. What he said makes sense. He said, you already lost. And I think that applies to even the Jordan situation. That's why I was kind of okay with him not responding.
Wait, because the first track he dropped wasn't that great, so the second one doesn't.
He said, if we're dropping songs back to back, and I felt I already had a better track than you, and you drop a worse track than the one you dropped before, why are we still going at this, right?
What?
Except,
because all right, go ahead.
I agree with that in principle. I scored it as a tie. So
overall,
Okay,
overall,
I see.
it's a tie.
Right.
No, the first round's the top for me.
The first round's a
So,
tie. But after,
you scored it that Tory had a better track.
You gave him an
So
edge.
you probably should agree with that in
was it
principle.
Don Q?
Wait, hold up. I said, and Don Q called me, and I said, yeah, I felt like, huh?
Did he bark on you?
Don't know, bark on me. Shut up, Dak. Get the fuck out of here. No, he ain't bark on me.
Wayno's gonna feel
you
better relax.
Stop it.
Tory
relax.
from Canada,
See, because now you throwing my fucking mind off because you said some silly shit. All right, so
Don Q called
Don
you.
Q called me and he was like, he said,
Happy
you feel like,
birthday.
he said, you feel like, he said, you feel like he got me? And I was like, yeah. I said the first round, I feel like he was saying some shit. He's like, but if he wasn't saying nothing that's true. I said, my nigga, I don't care about the truth. Like, I said, it's all about like who's entertaining. I said, bro, even though you know it's not true, whatever he may have said about you might not be true, you can't tell me he didn't say some shit.
All right, so you gave Tory the edge in the first round. Do
In
you
the
agree
first
with
round.
Ak on principle that if the first one wasn't that good, then it is negated by the second one, even if it's better?
With so the first one, I felt like Don's first one was good. I felt like his first one was good.
But not
I
as
felt
good
like
as Tory's.
I felt like Tory's second one was better than Don's first. The second, the third,
Tory's first one.
Tory's first one was better than Don's. Was better than Don's first. He got him on that one because he was going at him. And then this is why I told Don. I said I'm always excited when I hear Tory rap because the nigga sings. So every time the nigga raps, I'm astounded every time. Then I told him, I said, yeah, I fuck with the joints you just dropped on him. I feel like you got an edge now. That's what I said. And it's a lot of people that gave me flack for that. Like, oh, you think it's my fucking opinion.
But wait, are we still debating this principle that he agrees with on paper? Do you agree with this?
On paper, what?
All right. So if you believe Tory had a better first round than Don, and then let's compare Don's first round song to his second round song. If his second round song doesn't outdo his first round song, do you think Tory should still rap back?
Yeah, I feel like his second round song is better than his first round song.
All right, so
I feel like I like his second round song. I like his second round song.
So say if his second round song wasn't as good. So that's
if his second round song, yeah. Now look, if I didn't like Don's second round song at all, it's over.
All right,
but
so
see,
you
this is all
in
Tory.
Principle. You just don't agree how Tory's scoring it.
Yeah,
Tory's like, I'm the best. He's trash.
Listen, Tory. No, guess what? Nobody's never gonna beat Tory. When it comes to him, you want to know why?
Because he's always going to declare
his
himself the
mind
winner.
is made up before he starts because he already says, I'm better than all of these niggas. So, and he's not just talking that from a confidence level. He's like, yo, as soon as I rap, y'all niggas can't say nothing back because I'm that good.
Yo, JID, come get this, man. Just for fun. Just for fun.
Hey, I'll put money on Tory on that one.
I'll put my money on JID.
Tory gonna be on Instagram Live making a movie.
Well, I know you're garbage
for
at making
JID?
bets, so I'll be opposite of you every time.
For JID?
For everybody. Like I think, listen,
He just sets the tone. Like he
you
sets
have
the
to be
aesthetic.
you got to be a shit talker. You got to kind of have that. It's sad to say this, but it is kind of a show. You got to like.
it's some theatrics.
absolutely is.
If you're not part of, if you don't have that charisma like this nigga got it, he's gonna kill you. Tory might give you a pass on Don Q, even though I think you should respond, but you will not get a pass on Dream Doll. No way. No way. We need that response.
Dream Doll.
Happy birthday, Tory.
Dream Doll. Stop stealing CC shit with the happy birthday shit. And
birthday.
Dream Doll went and performed her shit last night.
Okay.
And she performed her shit last night. And as she's
shit.
performing, got 100 niggas on the stage with her and everything.
Tory got 48 hours more.
What?
Act, you don't set no fucking rules for no battle.
You and Tory and your
You set
bullshit
no
rules all the time.
No,
Don't matter.
yo, listen. Dream Doll came back with some shit
How fast did Dream Doll respond?
in a day.
In a day.
Yeah, maybe that should be it then, a day.
Nah, man. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know, yeah. It's all fun, though,
Let's see
but-
who he gets into it with next. Let's do some fan questions, yo. It's been a while. Let's see how many we can get through. All right, our first one. Do you guys think the generation gap will ever get bridged by a new upcoming rapper and a veteran? Like, imagine if Roddy Ricch and Styles P did a song. Do you guys think that will work? And P.S., fuck the haters. This ain't no off-brand show. It's my favorite show because you guys know the deal. Thank you. We love you.
Do we think that it could be that?
It could bridge. I mean, those collaborations
happens-
do. It does happen, right?
That happens all the time. I mean, it's not like something like Jay put fucking Drake. I mean, now I don't see it as much now that because rap is very different. But Jay put Drake on Blueprint 3, Kid Cudi
I guess
on
let
there,
me
J.
phrase it a
Cole.
little bit differently. So if Styles and Roddy Ricch did a song and Roddy Ricch fans hadn't known Styles before, do you feel like then they might be go checking for styles, listen to his old music kind of shit, or?
It depends. I mean, it depends. I think that it's dope when artists pay homage, like, you know, like how artists used like Bun B at one point in time. Like it was a lot of people. It was one point where Bun B was like the mid 2000s where he was on every young nigga's feature, killing it, and it did open up another eye for Bun B. But I just think that like younger artists, because somebody's older than you, does not mean that you have to disrespect them just because they're older. And I think that in order to understand hip hop, if you like your favorite artist and you hear that they say they like somebody, rather than them doing a song, just check for what they was influenced by.
True.
You know?
Musically, I think some of these could work. Not all of them, because you know some newer rapper styles are much different from older rapper styles. So like them finding a middle ground, or probably even selecting a beat that they would rap on, would probably be a hard time. But some artists, I could see both of them coming to a middle ground. You know, there's complications to it though. These days, niggas don't be in the studio building together when they create.
Right.
So if you have one person over here on this axis and this person on this axis sending ideas back and forth, it might not really happen in a really in a quick time. However, or to add to that, to be honest, then the second thing is what I think kind of killed those collaborations. Of course, you get like the Drakes and some other artists who do, like, they'll go grab a older artists and they'll feature, you know, like if they fuck with Wu-Tang, whoever it is, they're like, yo, if you guys like me, you guys gonna listen to me and them.
Yeah.
These days, and you can hear a lot of the new artists say it, streaming fucked all that shit up. Niggas only like, it's like, I'm only collabing with the hot niggas. So he's hot or he has an audience I could kind of balance off. And that's what collaborations I've seen, like, it's going I've even had a label, like, I was talking to a label rep, and they tell me, they're like, yo, we reach out for features that make sense in terms of streaming.
Well, I mean,
so by numbers.
But look at what Tiana did with Method Man and Ghostface. I mean, like what Method Man and Ghostface for her record, Love Me, right? She did a video with her, and she's she's still a young artist and all of that, and that was dope. Even I think it's different forms of it, like Drake naming his song Wu-Tang Forever. It had nothing to do with Wu-Tang, and it didn't sound like Wu-Tang, but it'll make a kid say, well, Wu-Tang, well, let me check that out. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you could do it. With A$AP Rocky, you see A$AP Rocky pay a lot of respect to Houston, and people gave Rocky a lot of flack for that, but if you're a kid, if you like a 11 or 12-year-old kid in like 04, and you watching Rap City, and all you seeing is Paul Wall and Mike Jones on them, you're gonna be influenced by that. So I think there's a lot of different ways you could do it.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's get to our next question from Justin Noel. In your opinion, what is J. Cole's best feature of all time? My personal favorite is Looking for Trouble. He definitely blacked on this song. They had to turn the beat off for him. This shit was crazy.
Damn, J. Cole's
Beautiful Bliss is still my favorite.
Yeah, on Wale shit.
He bodied that.
Yeah, he went crazy on Wale shit.
It aged well. That was like 2009.
That's a question
from
for you,
Attention Deficit.
Yeah.
Well, I picked mine. I think Beautiful Bliss is still my favorite Cole
Beautiful
feature.
Bliss is a really good joint. It's just Cole has so many.
I mean, like if you're doing all time versus you could even do last year because he did so many, right? Like he had the Royce feature on Bob LaBote. He did one with J-Rock. He had one with J.I.D.
J-Rock, and that's more recent.
Yeah, he had a lot.
Like thinking of Cole's 10-year, 11-year career. There's a lot to factor in. That's why it's really hard to have like a favorite verse from like your favorite rapper, because it's just really hard to compare them to them.
It's true, but Looking for Trouble and Beautiful Bliss are definitely
Beautiful Bliss. I would go with Beautiful Bliss. And I'm gonna go generic and say Star Is Born as well, like for real. Because Star Is Born is like when you look at his verse on Star Is Born and what happened after he released that verse on Blueprint 3, how he went on tour with Jay, how it like his career like really. The song really tells the story, so I think that's one of the more defining joints.
Okay. All right, Ak, we got one for you. Don't worry. How big of an impact do you see Cole Bennett having on hip-hop in the future? He's already credited with giving on the rise artist big looks with his very popular music videos. Arguably, Juice WRLD picked up his first big hit by doing the video to Lucid Dreams with Cole Bennett, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very long question, but what do you think, Ak? I know you're a big fan of his. Oh,
Cole Bennett's that guy, man. I think for a lot of the new rappers, like after seeing like he's a tastemaker. You know, he makes dope videos, but he's a tastemaker. I've seen a lot of newer rappers or prospective rappers. They really feel that the co-sign by him, you're automatically on. Anything he pretty much touches goes to go. Sam Midas touch. Is he like you see 10 years? Are we gonna look back like a Hype Williams kind of?
legend or?
I think he's building entertainment.
That's a big name to throw out, but I'm just trying to give an example. Like, are we gonna look back like he's a legend?
Well, real quick.
I think he's doing much more than that.
Okay.
You know,
much more than what Hype went.
I think what his brand is, it's not only just in video.
Well, what I would say is he's definitely impacting hip hop culture for these young kids. The thing when it comes to like saying a name like a Hype Williams, I don't know what these kids like feel about his videos. Like, I know what I think about him. He's very good. Like he's very good, and I think that the genius thing that he did, because I talked to my friends who are directors, and I'm like, yo, listen, if you had all these ideas and you telling all these young kids, yo, I'll shoot your vid for free, you know what I mean, and build a relationship with them, he really is smart at building a brand, because Lyrical Lemonade is a real brand and is doing real things. Didn't they have like the first fest last year? Sometime, so it's building things out. So, like you say, we got to sit back and watch. It's gonna take time because he's only been having a run for like a year or two, a real run for like a year or two. And when I think of like a person, not just comparing, I'm just using that because you said the name, but Hype, like what Hype, man.
He did a lot beyond.
He did a lot, beyond the music videos. I mean, Belly, like Belly is like one of the most iconic hip hop movies of all time, and he put a lot of dudes who had never acted in a movie and really did something. So I think that's gonna really be up to these kids of today for them to champion him as their guy. And I think
if he just stays consistent.
Absolutely, consistency is the big thing. He's in a great position, but he's working with Stat Quo. You know what I mean? Stat Quo is a guy who's respected in hip-hop, has been doing this for a long time, so I think he's under the right mentorship. Yeah,
we need this next generation of hip-hop movies.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I'm interested to see if he goes that route. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if he go that route. Like, I think what you're seeing now, and like this is just the common thing for every like hip-hop tastemaker, you see a bunch of, he may stay on the music side. A bunch of labels are approaching him. Shit, they approach me. They approach like Adam from No Jumper. Like they're offering him like label situations. So they want him to stay in the music as a tastemaker. Not too sure if his love for creating videos might be like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna focus on continuing like just visual shit and like film, maybe documentaries. Who knows? Lyrical Lemonade, of course, he has a whole platform there where he's like interviewing artists and doing a couple interesting things. Maybe he just continues doing that. I don't know where his growth is gonna be, but that's really up to him.
You know what the big thing for me when I seen, it wasn't even all the young guys when Kevin Gates came home and Kevin Gates did a video with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, now he getting like a respect. Not that none of the guys that he's working with is respected.
It's different.
But it's different like when a Kevin Gates is like, you know, I'm gonna trust him with my vision. Yeah. You know?
Because Kevin Gates don't trust anybody. You think he touched Kevin Gates?
It's definitely a label, but at the same time, Kevin Gates, wait a second, it's definitely the label that's saying, yeah, this kid is hot, but it's definitely a person like Kevin Gates is not no pushover gonna make you let you tell him what to do, everything. Yeah. You know?
Listen, man, I hear labels is just giving the whole budget to him. Which, I mean, hey, yeah, listen, ain't no MTV and BET putting out music videos no more like that. So like your majority of the visuals are like living on YouTube. Of course, it could be on like Apple Music, but it's really YouTube. The kid is, everything he touches is a hit. Blueface was having good success without him. They put him with Blueface. Now, last Blueface video is at like 30 million views in less than a month. Looks like it's working. He have a little Xan. A little Sky's career you could be attributed to him.
YB and Namir.
So you have to realize when somebody's like
he deserves his credit. He deserves his credit.
Okay. I think we have one more. Wayno, I think you would like this one. Yeah. This question is from Sev Banks. Even though Ray Sremmurd are signed as a group, can they still go independent or sign a deal somewhere else as a solo artist? How complicated is that?
That's not complicated at all, and absolutely they can. When you look down the line and you see, now I don't know what their deal entails, because sometimes when you sign groups, they can say, all right, we want to sign y'all as a group and we want y'all as solo acts. But when you look at history, you see Wu-Tang Clan. They were spread out everywhere. Method Man had a deal at Def Jam. I think Raekwon was at Sony, Columbia, I believe. Then you look at the Locks, like Jadakiss had a deal at Def Jam, solo-wise. Styles had a deal at Interscope. Sheik did E1. So it's like you can always do different things.
And when if you're part of a group and you're signing with someone else, like you said, you don't know the details of their thing.
Right.
But
is there anything? Was loud.
Is there anything you're supposed like? Would the other label ever give you a hard time because you already signed somewhere else? Like, is there anything that makes negotiating more difficult?
No, I mean the biggest thing about it is this. It's like I even look at like Jim Jones, right? When Diplomats deal was through Rockefeller. So Diplomats was on Rockefeller / Def Jam, and then they did a deal for Jewels with Rockefeller, Def Jam through Diplomats, right? That was the imprint. But Jim, people wasn't taking Jim serious when he was working on his album. Nobody wanted to give him a deal. Like Cam had him on Diplomats or whatever, but nobody wanted to give him the distribution. So he went to E1. So sometimes you might lose, because then after that, Jim, by his third album, he catches a fucking major hit record. You know, that Def Jam and Rockefeller miss out on.
Okay.
But I think the negotiations is basically predicated on the leverage that you have. You know, if somebody feels like, oh, this kid is hot, even if he doesn't have nothing out, he's hot, nah, he's staying right here. But you have the ability to go spread your shit around. Look at Rick Ross. Rick Ross was on Def Jam. He had MMG on Atlantic, well, Warner, and then it switched over to Atlantic, which you would have said, well, why didn't fucking Def Jam give him an MMG deal? They missed out on Meek. They missed out on Wale. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They missed out on all them MMG albums. So you can always negotiate elsewhere.
Okay.
You know?
I would assume that they have solo deals through Air Drummer Records, and clearly they dropped what's considered solo albums packaged with the Ray Sremmurd album, Shrem Life 3. So I would assume they do, but of course, if they didn't, they could definitely do.
Yeah, you could bounce around.
They could go wherever they want to go, but it didn't seem like, or until now, it didn't really seem like they were even trying to do that. They were really just trying to stay as a group. Let's think about the Migos, for example. I would probably assume that maybe later on, once like the group was so established, if they weren't on the solo contracts, QC probably got them on the solo contracts. Clearly, you see at least 2 out of 3 of them drop their solo albums, but there was a point for them that I don't think they were thinking about, we're gonna rock on a solo level, because even when it was just 2 of them, they would just still operate under the banner of the Migos. So I would imagine, like, you sign them to the group and you sign them as solo artists. Do they have to do the solo options? Probably not. But
but you could go. Yeah, you can go move around. You know, it depends on how the label feels about you. Because if they think you hot enough, they're not letting you walk out that door.
Yeah, and also you got to realize, like, I'm putting marketing dollars into this person that you might take to go do a group album somewhere else. We got to keep the money here. I don't want to like market you and promote you as a group, and then you're the hot guy in the group, and then you go do a solo album with somebody else. They're capitalizing off what I spent. I ain't with that.
True. Thank you guys. Very thorough answer as always. And thank you guys for sending your questions. Please keep sending them on Twitter at EverydayStruggle 2Gs. And what happened to you guys sending videos?
Yeah,
I don't understand. You guys got shy again?
It was 3 niggas sending the same video.
Baby Drake.
The nigga that look like Drake.
Now these niggas could just make fake accounts and tweet. There's like 3 fans who tweet us, right? It's not much to choose from.
No, but we want to see your lovely faces. So if you want to send us videos, just try to keep it to 30 seconds or less. We appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing weekend. We'll see you back here Monday, 11:30 a.m.
I'm taking bets on the Patriots if any of y'all got that bread.
On Everyday Struggle.